I'm back. Welcome to Star Joes. I'm your host Ryan, and today we're going to be covering First Strike #1 from IDW. Now, I first wanted to apologize to everyone for being away for so long from YouTube. Just been very busy, things have been going on, and I kind of wanted to change things up, kind of put out some better quality there for you guys. Now, the blue screen, green screen stuff that I've done in the past, that's not going away entirely. I definitely want to revisit doing stuff like that for you guys, but I thought it would be better to do things kind of in my studio room here where I'm surrounded by the stuff that I love, stuff related to the show. This is where I do all of my recording when it comes to podcasting. This is where I do all my editing. It's surrounded by the stuff that I love and stuff I enjoy, so I figure I'd bring you guys into this world and this side of things, and it seemed like a natural place to start doing some recordings here for you guys. Plus, it makes it a little bit easier for me to do some recordings, so hopefully that'll mean more videos will come out quicker for you. I definitely have a lot of things I want to cover for you guys, so what you can expect in the future is I'll be covering stuff that's more recent, more contemporary, that's coming out, hopefully closer to when it actually does come out, and then I'm going to be jumping back to some things that I wanted to cover while I was actually on a hiatus for you guys. So there's a lot of videos that should be coming out for you guys, a little bit of variety here and there. I'm going to have an unboxing coming up very soon. Thinking about doing some top 5 lists for you guys, just trying to find some creative ways. So if you have any ideas of things you'd like me to cover or talk about on the show, put it in the comments. I love reading that and kind of seeing what direction you guys would like to see me go in. But mainly I'm going to still be covering comics here for you guys, and it's going to be comics related to the Star Joes universe, which is Star Wars, G.I. Joe, Transformers, anything from the 80s licensed properties. And First Strike #1 from IDW definitely covers that. In fact, that covers it in spades. So what we have with First Strike is this is the second crossover event being done by IDW in their Hasbro universe. So that covers a lot of different things. Now, previously I did cover Revolution #1, and what I initially intended to do with that is I had intended to actually cover every single issue of Revolution, all the tie-ins and everything else, and unfortunately it just didn't happen. But with First Strike, I thought it was a good chance for me to jump back on and actually complete what I promised you guys. So that's what I'll be doing here is I'm going to cover First Strike #1. I know that First Strike #2 already came out, so that video will be coming out very shortly. I'll cover that issue with you guys. But First Strike #1, it's that second event, it's that second crossover. The first crossover with Revolution actually brought the characters together. So you had all these different, properties, licensed properties out there. You had G.I. Joe, you had Transformers, you had ROM, Micronauts, Mask, Action Man. They were all kind of brought together in that story, and they really had to kind of focus on those characters being brought together. When we come to First Strike, that stuff is already established. In fact, after Revolution, we see a lot of those characters crossing over into each other's titles. It actually reminds me back of the old Marvel days where you'd see Spider-Man swinging around the background, and they're like, you want to see what happens with Spider-Man? Go check out issue number whatever of Amazing Spider-Man. So we get a lot of that here. We're seeing characters crossing over each other's titles and them interacting with each other, which is great because they are talking about a shared universe. It truly makes it feel like these characters are sharing a universe and not coming together just for these big crossover events. Now, the story is written by Marguerite Scott and David Rodriguez. The art is by Max Dunbar, and I say overall they did a really great job. One of the things I really liked that the writers did on this was they brought in things from the past of IDW continuity. So you had characters like Arunya Singh, who was known as Hashtag in past G.I. Joe comics. It was a new character that wasn't really that well liked when she first came on the scene. As the G.I. Joe series went on, I think fans kind of started having a little bit of a heart for her because she did really grow as a character. Now she's kind of this news multimedia reporter thing that's actually broadcasting what's happening in the issue of First Strike. And the station that she's actually representing is named Hashtag, which I thought was a clever little nod back to that. We also see a little nod when one of the characters, Marissa Fairborn, is actually interviewed and she's asked what is she wearing, which is a typical Hollywood thing, like who are you wearing today? And she says, I'm wearing a Barber original, which is a little nod to John Barber, which is one of the writers that has been has written things in the past for IDW when it comes to a lot of these licensed properties. Marissa Fairborn also is a character that has appeared in the past when it comes to Transformers, but she also is known way back in the past because she was a character that appeared in the Transformers cartoon and is believed to be the daughter of Flint and Lady J. And that is just awesome to me because I'm a huge fan of those characters. So seeing her in this comic was really a bright spot as well. So what we have going on in the first issue is we have Earth is becoming part of this Council of Worlds, which it has Cybertron as the center of all of that. And in the past Transformers issues, we actually see all these different worlds coming together, and Earth is finally becoming part of that. Well, obviously, that isn't going to go very smoothly, and a huge battle breaks out. And this is being led by Baron Ironblood. And Baron Ironblood is unknown as far as who he is, in a sense. Now, I will say one of the problems with this issue, one of the big problems I have with this issue, is that because a lot of the other titles were delayed coming out, especially things like Revolutionaries, there's actually spoilers that happen in this issue that reveal things that you were supposed to find out in the Revolutionaries timeline. So they actually make a reference in this issue to check out Revolutionaries issue number 8. However, when this issue of First Strike came out, issue number 6 had only been out on the stands, and issue number 7 was coming out the week after First Strike number 1 came out. So they didn't really time it very well, and I really say that falls on the IDW editors and publishers. It really doesn't fall on the writers at all, but it's just really making sure that if you're going to do these big crossover events, which IDW really hasn't had the opportunity to do a whole lot of these, you have to make sure your timing is right. And if you're going to refer to things that are going on in the current books and everything else, you have to make sure those titles came out first. So that was a real problem for me. Now, when it comes to the art, I thought it was absolutely beautiful. Max Dunbar did a great job. I actually like the art in this significantly more when it comes to the G.I. Joe characters than what I'm seeing in the current G.I. Joe title. I like the current G.I. Joe title as far as the story, but the art is just not to my liking. I'd like to see someone like Max Dunbar actually doing the G.I. Joe artwork for that title, because I think he has a really great style that would work for that, really works well for action and everything else. So I don't want to spoil too much. Again, I know that they kind of spoil things in the title. You do find out who Baron Ironblood is. I do really like the backup feature that occurred that kind of gave a little bit more of an origin of Baron Ironblood coming to power and everything else. So I'm looking forward to this event. Now, like I said, they can really focus on these characters and telling a story rather than worrying about how do all these characters come together. So like I said, overall, I really did enjoy First Strike number 1. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. I'm looking forward to the tie-ins and kind of seeing how they fit into each other. I'm hoping that IDW gets caught up on their other titles. I know a lot of the other issues have come out, and I'm currently reading those to kind of get through those, so this way I can be better prepared for the next issue of First Strike. So overall, I'd have to give this a rating of the Honor of Grayskull, and the reason why, again, is just that there was some spoilers that occurred. The timing was a bit off, but overall, the issue was very exciting. It did read a little bit fast, but you kind of expect that when you have a lot of action going on. Now, as far as speculation with this title, for those of you who don't know, IDW did announce that they're going to be doing a Visionaries comic, and that's going to be coming out in December, which falls right into place when First Strike will pretty much be ending. So my guess, and I have nothing to back this up with, but my guess is that First Strike is going to really introduce the Visionaries characters and how they fit into this whole Hasbro universe. So I don't think that's too far of a stretch to guess. I'd love to know what you guys think is going to happen at the end of First Strike. You know, do you think the Visionaries characters will make an appearance? And what I really want to know too is this first issue mainly focused on the G.I. Joe characters and the Transformers characters. We haven't really seen Mask or Rom or anything like that show up as of yet. My guess is that they will end up appearing later on in later issues. But I want to know, when it comes to the Hasbro shared universe, what are your thoughts on it? Because I will say that there are some mixed reviews when it comes to that. I myself grew up mixing all these toys up and playing with them, and I know there's some people that was like, when I played G.I. Joe, I played G.I. Joe. When I played Transformers, I played Transformers. So I kind of want to hear from you guys down in the comments below. You know, what did you do as a kid, and What are your feelings about all these characters sharing a universe in the comics right now? I know they're supposed to be doing that in the movies as well. I'm not as excited about that, but I am really enjoying it in the comic universe right now. So if you enjoyed this video and looking forward to more, please click that like button. And if you want to see more of these videos, definitely click that subscribe button. I'm looking forward to bringing out many more of these issues to you and bring them from this fun studio, in which I hope to kind of show you guys more of that in the future as well. So until then, keep following us, and remember that the Force will be with you, because knowing us is half the battle. Take care, guys.